Hey there, this is Natalie, and this is going to be a big channel and personal update, which is going to cover everything from what I'm going to be doing on YouTube, including a new project that is already live on a new channel, which I'm only announcing now, and the future of this channel, which, don't worry, isn't stopping, as well as an update on my Twitch, along with an explanation for why I'm doing all of this, and why I've been absent just about everywhere except for X lately. I'm hoping I've found some solutions that will let me make the kind of content I want to make on this channel, and which you guys want, while also giving me a way to get out of the personal and financial stress I've had for, well, 2 years at this point. And honestly, it's far from being the first thing I've tried to achieve that, so I'm really hoping it works out. So to give you some background, essentially this channel has always been more or less entirely scripted videos, where I try to go deep into things like the way things are written in the series I focus on, the deeper lore, theories, and of course arguing with videos or articles that I think paint these shows in a bad light. That's the kind of stuff I like doing, getting into both the stories themselves and the community around them in a thoughtful way. And for me, that means I want to be organising my thoughts and writing a script or essay about things. My background is as a writer, and I think that's also something that allows me to give a different perspective to other channels similar to mine in terms of what we cover, so I don't feel like I'm making redundant videos. But you really have to be on form to write that kind of stuff. And when I'm stressed or going through bad times, I just can't write enough of that kind of stuff every day that I'm happy with to have this channel performing well financially. Which of course leads to me being even more stressed and upset with myself for producing nothing that could actually help me with my problems. People often suggested that when I don't want to write or can't focus to do it, I do more reading content, like the various side story readings I've done on my channel in the past. A lot of people do really like those, but they actually really murder me in the algorithm. Side story content that may contain spoilers is already a very niche audience within my existing small niche, and once you get into multi-part series like my old Dragon's Tale readings, while those have gotten decent views over time, when the latest video YouTube is pushing out to your audience is, say, part 5 of a series a lot of your usual audience isn't watching, the algorithm gets the message that it's a bad run of videos, so recommends the other stuff you do less after that. But people who really like that content also really do like it, so I do want to do more of it. But the fact that people do like those readings gave me an indication from audience feedback that many of you like to listen to narrations while you're falling asleep, commuting, working and so on. And really that's what gave me the idea for the new channel. I figured that there is an audience for that kind of chilled out narration type content with lo-fi music and a real human voice rather than AI. I just needed to find something that was more mainstream than light novel side stories, and where I also wouldn't be reading out copyrighted material. So I looked into the Reddit stories type niche and found that exactly the kind of content I was thinking of doing does very well for some channels there. You know, reading and responding to interesting curated stories from subreddits like Am I the Arsehole, Relationships, Entitled People, and so on. With this kind of thing, where the videos all take the same kind of format and aren't really time sensitive, I can do the work of finding and recording stories, doing unscripted reactions to them, editing the videos and making thumbnails ahead of time, meaning I can have a consistent upload schedule while still having plenty of time free each week to work on scripted content for this channel and live content on Twitch. And I'll get on to the Twitch situation in a minute. I think if I can make a channel like that where the content is still interesting and of good quality, that can be run on a schedule without a demand when it comes to writing and fresh video ideas, or with fitting in with time-sensitive trends for the algorithm, I'll be second-guessing everything to the point of paralysis out of sheer financial desperation a lot less on my main channel, so the content here will not only be more frequent, but also better. Of course, That relies on the new channel getting monetized and having any chance at all in the algorithm, and it won't happen overnight. So I still really need to ask for your support. If you can, please go and check out my new channel, Natalie Narrates, and give the video on there a like and subscribe, and then that's already a big help. Plus, I do also have to implore anyone who can afford it to support me via Ko-fi or Patreon, because while I'm working as hard as I can to sort things out and get this idea working, I am in consistently dire straits. I have to move in with my dad for the whole of August for financial reasons, and that is far from ideal given he lives in the middle of nowhere and I can't drive. So it's not really a viable existence for me. I can deal with it for a month, but yeah, I've tried a lot of things, and really all that's kept me alive up to this point is the support of my community, and I really mean that. In order to thank those of you who've donated before or want to now, I did just make a full 7-hour audiobook of Old Dragon's Tale, the Mushoku Tensei prequel, available on Ko-fi and Patreon for people at any and all levels of donation. In fact, it's available just for visiting the pages because I don't like putting stuff behind a paywall, and I know a lot of people have helped me out in other ways, and I want them to be able to have it too if they want. It's basically the chapter readings from the playlist on my channel, compiled without the intros, outros, music and video, into one long audiobook. So you can download it, listen to it whenever you want, with whatever music you want, with no music, and no ad breaks and so on. I'll be posting some bonus short side stories on Ko-fi and Patreon in a similar way, as thank yous for your help. And for the next video reading series, which will be coming soon on this channel, there will also be a clean audiobook MP3 available on Ko-fi and Patreon to any and all supporters. I think this is going to be how I do the side content readings from now on. Videos for the bigger stories on here, but with clean MP3s on those platforms. And for smaller stories, they'll just be bonus readings available to anyone who visits me on those pages. So, that's most of the personal stuff and the YouTube stuff, but I do also want to update you about Twitch. I started streaming on Twitch early in the year, and I was enjoying making it work. I really enjoy doing that kind of thing, and I was getting a bit better at my streams not being totally scuffed every time. There were a great bunch of people showing up, and it was all basically going how I wanted it to. But then something happened in my personal life that made me just feel really uncomfortable going live. I thought I could ignore it, but I just couldn't. Basically, I tell almost nobody I know in real life what my online name is. NatalieXHunter is, as most of you know, a pen name, and while most people I know I'm a YouTuber and so on, I refuse to tell people my channel, and if they do know it, I've asked all but 2 people who are people I know very well and who also are generally into at least some of the things I talk about, not to follow me on X, not to watch my content, and just to generally leave the subject alone. This is because I have this feeling that I can't really be myself or be properly creative if people I know in real life are there. It's hard to explain, but I've always kind of been like that, even when I was a kid. And people normally get over the curiosity and respect those boundaries. But there was a guy I was friends with who I had no intention of ever telling, who found out by looking at my phone or computer and started looking at my tweets and watching my videos and my streams and all of that kind of thing. I didn't realise this until he did something really annoying, which I talked about on my stream that night because I wanted my audience to cheer me up. And a couple of weeks later, when he came back with an apology, he talked about how he'd seen the stream and brought up a load of stuff I'd said. I really hated that he'd overstepped that boundary, but he just seems to be that type of person that thinks those sorts of preferences don't apply to him for whatever reason. Still, I just really couldn't get back into the mindset of the streams being a fun thing for entertaining people and hanging out with my community when I had this feeling that he might be lurking. Not because he was stalking me or anything serious like that. It's just like I don't feel I can talk freely about anything if I feel like someone I know in real life is going to start bringing it up with me. In any case, I think I've resolved the problem now because I've made it very clear that I don't really want any contact with him again. so I will be going back to streaming on Twitch, but I don't think it's ideal to start it back up while I'm at my dad's, given it means making noise late at night when he'll be sleeping. So I'm going to use the rest of July and then all of August when I'm at my dad's to build up the content on the new channel. I'll get a decent backlog of stuff on there so I can remain consistent, and I'll also work on anime content for this channel. I also need to catch up with Arc 8 of ReZero, so I'm nice and ready to start doing a whole bunch of ReZero content ahead of Season 3, so I'll also be doing a lot of reading. Anyway, thank you for listening. Remember to head over to my new channel, Natalie Narrates, and give it a lovely subscribe. There's already one video up now and another one scheduled to go live tomorrow, and I'll be aiming to build up the content fairly quickly, so there'll always be something new to relax to if you like that sort of content. And if you want something long and Mushoku Tensei focused to listen to right now, head over to Ko-fi or Patreon to download the Old Dragon's Tale audiobook. Thanks again for all of your support and patience in these very trying times. I'm doing my best to work my way out of it, but I still really need you guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon.